Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar today. I just want to do a quick sound check. So if you can hear me, will you please chat into the chat box? Yes. Okay, I'm not getting any chats or any messages coming through. So if you could, I'm going to try to unmute you all so that you can speak. Okay, can everyone hear me? If you can hear me again, please chat into the chat box. If you cannot hear me, I'm trying to unmute you all. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And let me know if you can hear me by chatting into the chat box. And we're going to go ahead and get started, but please feel free to chat in any questions you have into the chat box throughout the webinar at any time, and I will address them at the end. So thank you for attending. We're going to go ahead and jump right into our agenda. So we're going to be going over a few different things today. First off, we're going to start with what's new on our blog, and then we're going to jump into a few interesting updates about e-surveys, and we'll get into details with that later on. And then we're going to cover National Nutrition Month, which is just coming to a close now in March, and then speak a little bit about our fiscal year 2018 partnerships. And then we'll go over a couple of quick reminders and the upcoming webinar schedule. So, new additions to the blog. If any of you have been on our blog recently, you've probably noticed a few new resources and some very exciting resources at that. So we're going to jump right into recipe videos. And you should be able to see them popping up on my screen now. We have some really, really neat props and film crew that have been working on this with our staff, and we've been creating a few different recipes in terms of the ones that we have in all of our class and curriculum recipe lists. And so we're going through and kind of doing a few each week so that we can end up with a wealth of recipe videos at the end that you can share with your participants, and you can also push them out on your social media so that you can highlight whatever recipes you're making in class. And so I'll just go down this list and show you a few of the ones that we already have uploaded. You'll see veggie wraps, one ingredient banana ice cream, and the lighting in all these is really nice and should be really pretty to push out on social media, and they're really fun to watch. They've got nice little songs going along with each video, so check these out when you have a spare moment. And then we also have M&T cards that have been updated on our blog. So if you have been familiar with using M&T cards in the past, these are specifically related to different diseases and different conditions that your participants may have. This is particularly helpful for cooking matters at the store. It was designed on our end to put these cards up onto our blog so that you can use them when you run into participants that do have specific conditions and are asking questions about how those specific conditions are going to relate to how they can complete the $10 challenge at the end of the tour, and how the different food groups are going to work for them. So I'm just going to click on one for an example. For coronary artery disease, so you can see the outline and how they look. So these are just updated this year. So if you've been using some in the past, you may notice a few different changes. So again, check these out when you have some time. And then something really cool and new that we have, a completely new resource that was added recently, are our micronutrient cards. So I'm going to click on, for example, vitamin K flashcard, and you can see here the different resources that were added to talk a little bit about the micronutrients in terms of their main functions, and then to go over good sources of the whatever micronutrient you're talking about. These are really helpful to add into Cooking Matters classes specifically. You could probably use them for Cooking Matters at the store tours if you wanted to, but they're designed to help out more specifically with the Cooking Matters class when you have a little bit more time to go into detail with these types of things and getting into micronutrients. So you can see there's also a daily recommendation for men versus women, and then some special notes and considerations for each micronutrient. And if you all follow our peer-reviewed articles page, these are continually updated to keep you guys up to date with the newest and most current research in terms of support and informing our programs and the work that we're all doing. So as you scroll down this page, you can see all the different articles that are new have the word new in front of them. So you can see, for example, here, you're going to see this word new in front of all the ones that are recently updated. As you scroll down the page, we'll go through a couple of the different categories that have been updated. So the cooking category has a new research article. There are a lot of new research articles in the cultural aspects category. And then as we scroll down further, you can see new resources for families with young children, so under the age of 6. And then also Farmers Market Nutrition Ed. There's a little bit of more research there for you as well. And then a lot of research underneath the Food Insecurity, Nutrition, and Access category. And I do believe we've just recently added a new category. If we keep going down to the bottom, you'll see there's our typical gardening and nutrition, grocery and shopping category. And then as we keep scrolling, you'll see a new section specifically for college students. So we're in the process of pulling a lot of research related to college students and nutrition, and we actually have an intern working on creating a toolkit that can be used with these college students as it relates to a lot of the content covered in Cooking Matters and how it can be more specifically geared towards college students. So the next thing on the blog, new additions, is our Cooking Matters for Parents handouts and recipes have been uploaded to the blog, now in English and Spanish. So I'm going to go to that for you. You can see here on our Cooking Matters course handouts page, as you scroll down, there will be now a parent category. So you see adults and you see families, but then you also see at the bottom there is Cooking Matters for Parents here. And then this is the English section, but if you keep scrolling down to the bottom, there is also a Cooking Matters for Parents Spanish section. So these have been updated for you so that you can print these out to see what's going to be coming in the curriculum that you ordered, or to have extra copies on hand. And next, our Generating Budget-Friendly Recipes video has recently been updated to be a little bit better quality and contain a little bit more clear and concise content, and you can see that as you scroll down here to this training webinar section. So this is a new upload of this video, so hopefully if you want to check that out, it'll be a little bit more informative and a little bit better quality than the last time. And then there's something really cool that we've recently found out about. It's called the Foodfully app. So I'm going to pull this up and show you a little bit what this looks like. So this app is really neat because it's designed to maximize food efficiency and reduce food waste. And so in the app, you can actually keep track of what you buy from the grocery store, as well as scanning receipts or entering in manually what you've purchased. You can also track what's in your fridge by expiration date. And then the app will also suggest recipes based on what's expiring most quickly in your fridge or pantry. So this is something really cool that you could use personally or share with your participants to help them to reduce the food waste and help them use their funds most efficiently to be able to use all the produce that they're purchasing. All right, so that covers all of our new additions on the blog, so feel free to check out those resources when you have time. And then we have something really exciting, so some breaking news here. This is just recently, a really recent change, so bear with me as we go through this. So if you remember from the last webinar, this was the new layout for how surveys were going to proceed. The surveys on the left-hand side were going to be electronically entered, and the surveys on the right-hand side were going to be continuing with paper implementation. Now we're actually having a change, and it's specific to our Cooking Matters at the Store surveying. So you see that Cooking Matters at the Store used to be on the electronic side. It is now making a big move over to the paper side. So for those of you that are running Cooking Matters at the Store in conjunction with your Cooking Matters classes for the 5th week, and then also Cooking Matters at the Store tours in the grocery store as a standalone tour or as a pop-up tour, are going to be going back to paper. So the good news is that you won't have to change any of your processes for running CMATs for paperwork. You're not going to have to make that shift over to the electronic. You're going to continue with paper surveys as before and just mail them in to us. So nothing is going to change there. And the reason this change is occurring is because satellite programming is becoming so large, and we're going to have to be making sure that we stick with getting you guys all the data that you need. And the reason we're making this change here is coming down from Share Our Strength. Share Our Strength has actually been using an algorithm to sample 20% of our Cooking Matters at the Store participants for the past fiscal year. And so to work with that algorithm, we've been only submitting satellite paperwork and been forgoing all of our own Cooking Matters at the Store data so that you get all of your behavior change and all of the survey data from your specific tours that you're running as satellites. Now, since satellite growth is becoming so large, and we found out that with the new electronic surveys, we were still going to have to be implementing only 20% of those surveys, we have chosen to have you guys stick to paper, and then we will process it all for you so that you don't have to deal with the algorithm on your end, and we'll make sure you get 20% of all of the data. You get 100% of all the data, but it will only be a 20% sample size as required by Share Our Strength. So now Cooking Matters at the Store here on out is going to be on the paper side. So just make note of that big change and refer to this updated list here moving forward. So forget the old list that we talked about in the last webinar, and this is the new one moving forward. So let me know if you have any questions about that. You can chat them into the chat box as we're going, or you can let me know at the end. Okay, moving forward. So back to e-surveys. E-survey instruction page on our blog, this might be very familiar to you if you've already been going through the e-survey instructions, but I'm going to take us to that page so we can walk through it a little bit more in detail. So here's our e-survey instruction page. And if you scroll down this page, you can see at the very top, there's a timeline. And if you notice the very last flag here, the gold flag, says that we go live on July 1st, 2017. That is still in effect, and that's a little bit of a ways away. But we have this resource here for you so that you can continue to be training if you haven't started training yet as we go through and taking this shift into electronic surveys. So if you note, this page is divided into a few different sections. So we're going to go through the first section together. So as of July 1st, 2017, again, surveys will be submitted electronically for the following programs that are listed in green. So if you see, here are the surveys that will be turning electronic. And this is a change because Cooking Matters at the Store used to be included in this list, and as we just discovered, it is no longer included in this electronic list. So these are the main courses, and then we don't want to forget families, so we're going to add them back in even though they're purple. So the reason that CM Families is purple is because it's going to be sort of a hybrid. The adults in your families classes are continuing to go with the electronic portion of surveying, and then for the kids that are included in the families class, we're going to use paper surveys for them and mail them to us so that you can still capture that behavior change for the kids. So as we scroll down a little bit more, you can see all the resources you need for paper surveys are listed here in this orange section. And then as you scroll down a little bit more, all the resources for electronic surveys are listed in the green section. So everything you need here is going to be listed for you, and we're going to talk a little bit about unique IDs. So a unique ID is the way that a participant is tracked in the database. So you're going to have to make sure that your participants are using their unique IDs, and their volunteers are making sure that your participants are using the unique ID, because the unique ID is what enables the pre-survey to be linked to the same participant's post-survey. And this is in conjunction with keeping the anonymity of the participants confidential, so that we can make sure that we're not specifically having the participant linked to their enrollment form, but we still have their same pre and post surveys linked together. So as we scroll down here, you'll see one new thing that we're going to talk about, and we'll jump right back to the slideshow, is that in these e-survey instructions, there is a new updated piece that we haven't ever talked about before. So this is going to be new to you all, unless for some reason I had sent this to you in the past. This is a new update for the attendance sheet specifically for e-surveys with Cooking Matters. So you'll notice that this looks a little bit different here from your traditional Cooking Matters attendance sheet. Specifically, it has a space here, these two new columns that are included for participants' initials. And this is going to link back to that unique ID that we just talked about. So this will be where you keep track of making sure that your participants have completed putting their initials in for the e-survey, and then making sure that their pre-survey is completed before they continue. So this is going to be specifically for the classes that are listed on the left side. So only for adults, for parents, for families, and the adult members of the family class, and then for child care professionals. So if you're doing Cooking Matters Kids and Teens programming, you'll continue to use the old Cooking Matters sheet. Now back to our instruction page so that we can finish walking through this together. As you notice, we'll scroll down a little bit more, and there are going to be some informative videos for you, so that you'll notice that we only have the e-survey training video for families and parents posted. Families and adults and parents posted. You'll notice that as we scroll down, the Cooking Matters at the Store training video has been deleted since we're going back to paper for that. So if you have your volunteers that are going to be leading these specific classes, we would suggest that you require them to watch these videos before class so that they can be aware of all of the different components associated with e-surveying for a specific families class or adults and parents, which are similar, and that's why they're included in the same video. So we ask that you have your volunteers review this before class, and we ask that you review it as well. And then as we scroll down the page further, there are instructions for locating and using the app if you're on a phone or a tablet. And so the Qualtrics app is the app that's going to be using in our e-surveys. And we have our login information as well as our password here for you. And this is going to be key for being able to log in to the Qualtrics app. So you'll see here, I'll highlight these for you. The login is cookingmatters@strength.org and the password is CMEval15. As we continue down, you'll see a couple screenshots of what it's going to look like on the app. And then we also have a practice course code for you. And that practice course code is here, 22 and then 59s, so that you can practice on your tablets or apps with the Qualtrics app and using these samples to kind of figure out and play around with your e-surveys before you actually begin implementing them so that you can be familiar and your volunteers can be familiar as well. So just make sure that when you do this, you do not actually upload your responses after completing any of the surveys. And as you are only practicing, we don't want that to adjust our behavior change data. And then as you continue down, you'll see instructions specifically for using the computer links. And your computer links are here for pre and post survey. Just make sure that when you're entering the pre-survey, you're actually using the pre-survey link, and then the post-survey specific for the post-survey link. It should become apparent as you click on that, and it has the questions specifically for pre-survey, but just as a reminder, there are two different links for the pre and post when you're entering on a computer. And as you'll notice, the Cooking Matters at the store link has been taken away since that will no longer be electronic. And then as we scroll down, I want to highlight the other helpful information section of this page that has actually recently been updated as well. So here we are on the bottom of the page. And if you'll notice that we have a couple of different columns created for the paperwork that you need to send us after courses and after tours. So you'll notice that you still do have to send us some things even though surveys have become electronic. So please refer to this page when you're trying to close out your courses and tours after they have finished to make sure you have your checklist complete of the things that you need to send us. And as a friendly reminder, please do not send us leftover curriculum, incentives, or first-time volunteer gifts. We ask that you keep those on hand for future courses and tours and ask that you adjust your next order accordingly. So that covers that page. Please chat in any questions if you have them, and I'll get to them at the end. Okay, we already went over the attendance sheet. And then we have another new piece that's been implemented on the blog. There is a Q&A section for our e-surveys specifically. So I'm going to click on that. And this Q&A section, if you scroll down here, it's going to be updated on a continual basis as you all continue to ask good questions. And we'll hope this can become more of an FAQ section that you can check before asking us a question to make sure no other partners have already asked it and that it hasn't already been answered on this page. Okay, so that leads us to National Nutrition Month. So a lot of our partners and us here at the Food Shuttle as well are running specific programming in honor of National Nutrition Month, which was this month in March. So if you did happen to host any events for National Nutrition Month, please share your experiences with us. We want to see all that you're doing, and also share any media-related items so that we can also share them, because we want to push them out on our social media and show the good work that you all are doing across the state. And then as for 2018 partnerships, in the fiscal year 2018, just a reminder that our fiscal year runs from July 1st to June 30th of the following year. So we're coming up on the close of our 2017 fiscal year right now at the end of June. But this is a reminder that I will be sending out agreements for the new fiscal year at the end of May. And those will be due on June 15th of 2017. So you'll have a couple weeks to review and let us know if there are any adjustments that need to be made before you send those back. And additionally, as we're moving into the eSurvey implementation for those Cooking Matters classes, we will be having tablets come to those partners that are getting tablets. Those will be coming in May. We will be doing the ordering for those in April. And we'll have more info coming about this to you all soon, especially for those that are actually getting tablets for their Cooking Matters classes. If you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out. And then a few quick reminders. So we're coming up on the end of the month here, and that's typically the time when all of the requests for Cooking Matters at the store tours running in Food Line or Ingles need to be submitted, and I'm asking that those be submitted by March 30th, which is tomorrow, so that's a quick turnaround. But if you can, please plan all of your May tours for Food Line and Ingles by tomorrow, and let me know what date and time those are by filling out the Google form on the website. And that's specific to May, just as a reminder. Also, again, eSurveys, we're going live on July 1st, so keep that date in mind, the beginning of the new fiscal year. So any courses, for that, any courses and tours that will begin on or after July 1st specifically will need to be electronically surveyed for the appropriate curriculum that we have already discussed. So please have your staff and volunteers trained by then if possible. We're also interested in scheduling a Q&A webinar specific to eSurveys sometime in May, if that would be helpful to you as partners in navigating the tricky new eSurvey transition. So if that would be helpful, please chat into the chat box and let me know, and we'll look into scheduling that. It will be just a basic open webinar for your open questions, and we'll be able to troubleshoot anything with you there. You can see what other partners are having trouble working with and maybe even giving your own feedback on how to problem solve there. And then we're going to move on to the end of the quarter. So March is the end of a quarter for us. And as such, there's a quicker turnaround for paperwork and closing out all of our courses and tours that happened in March. So please send all of your course paperwork that ended in March to us ASAP so that we can get your data entered in. And then with CMP programming, so for Cooking Matters parents, we still have grant funding available to support your Cooking Matters parents programming at the rate of $20 per participant. So please let us know if you would like funds for a CMP class, or if you want to schedule any Cooking Matters for Parents classes specifically for the remainder of the fiscal year. Take advantage of those funds while we have them. That would be it's a great resource to let me know if you want to schedule those. And then another reminder, I am your go-to staff member here at the Food Shuttle for anything you need. And as a reminder, my contact information is here below, so you can email me or call me at any time. If you can't catch me on my office phone, try calling me on my cell phone, as I have that more readily available. And then we have upcoming webinars on the list. So you may note that this June 15th date is actually different from what you may have seen in the last webinar, and that's because that's been updated to be pushed back a week due to the Share Our Strength convening of partners that's happening the week of June 7th. So that was going to overlap with the webinar that we had originally planned, and we wanted to be able to have a recap webinar after that so that we could share any helpful information that we find out at the annual partner convening with you, and hopefully have a lot of new things to share. And then upcoming in the fall, September 7th at 10 a.m. is the first new fiscal year webinar that we have scheduled. So you can register by clicking the link here. And if this link won't work for you live with my screen sharing option, this webinar and its PowerPoint will also be uploaded to our blog within a week so that you can register for those as well. And now it's time for questions. So if you have any questions, please chat them into the chat box. And I'm going to go ahead and check the chat box to see if we've had any questions throughout. So I'm not seeing any questions come through. Let's see, hold on just a second. Okay, great. Okay, now all the yeses and I can hear yous are popping up. Thank you so much for sending those in. I don't know why they just popped up now, but great. Okay. Have the partners who are receiving tablets been notified? I believe the answer to that is no, and they will be notified at the beginning of April. We'll be sending those out to those CM partners that will be receiving tablets for their classes. Let me know if that doesn't answer your question. Okay, and then the next question is, if the CMP class ends after June 30th, does it still fall in the window for the grant? That's a great question because originally the funding was planned to be used through June 30th, but we haven't had enough use of the funds yet, so we're going to have enough funds to carry over into the fiscal year of 2018. So that's great news for those of you who are wanting to run parent classes within the new fiscal year. So if you want to go ahead and start planning Cooking Matters for Parents classes beginning in July, that's great. They should be able to be funded unless we have a huge response to this and everyone starts scheduling parents classes. Are there any more questions at this time? Because I believe those are our only two questions. I'm going to wait just a minute and see if anything else pops up. Okay, I think that's it for questions. If you all do have more questions, feel free to email me personally or call me afterwards if you think of anything else, and we will have this webinar posted hopefully within a week onto our blog so that you can watch it, or additional staff members can watch it as well. So thank you all so much for attending, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your day.